for another Q1 off. Because, boy, oh boy, this is a sensitive subject that every time I bring this up to somebody who plays Dark Souls, they immediately get angry and prejudicial towards everybody. Back when Dark Souls 3 was a thing and was heavily, you had the dueling arena, you had everything else in Dark Souls 3. The devs set everything up via Dark Souls 3. Healing during duels, leaving during duels, etc., etc. The entire duel scene of the Dark Souls etiquette, which is what it's just called, is Dark Souls etiquette or dueling etiquette. People follow to a T. Like I said, I've done my fair set of duels and I followed the etiquette and all of that. But the thing about it is, etiquette is just, well, game etiquette, I should say. Game etiquette is just sort of a set of gamer inspired rules to try and make things fair in a particular duel and all of that. But everybody knows that Dark Soul isn't fair. The whole point of Dark Souls is that it's not fair at all. Yes, to make things a as fair as possible duel, an etiquette or a standard set of player-based rules have been enforced. But the thing about it is, in Dark Souls 3, they have a dueling arena where both people spawn in together, and then the rules are already set by the devs. You can use anything that you have in your inventory as long as the Dark Souls devs allow it. I should just say FromSoft. As long as FromSoft allows it, then those are those set of rules. If you go on an invasion into another person's world, or if you're summoned in or anything like that, you are still part of Dark Souls rules. So, that saying, if you go to the dueling arena, then you have a set of rules that you go by. If you invade into somebody's world, you have another set of rules that you go by. Healing is generally fine unless, you both bow to each other and it's a 1v1 and then they heal. Then people get mad. The thing about it is, you're in their world. You're the one that ends up in their world. As much as people hate to say, well, they shouldn't heal because it's unfair and they have more Estus Bless and all of that. Who cares? Who cares? When you invade into somebody's world, that's how the game's set up. That is the contract that you're signing every time you use that to invade into somebody's world, or anytime somebody summons you into their world. You're signing a contract when you put your sign down saying that you're agreeing to duel this particular person with the disadvantages offered. You're an invader. You are technically evil. Quote unquote, the evil faction. So yeah, you're gonna have disadvantages. But the thing about it is you have healing too. It's not that it's limited. You want to get in, kill, and then get out. If you play through the regular game of Dark Souls, in this case Elden Ring, phantoms invade you throughout the game. You kill the phantoms, you go back to doing what you're doing, and you continue on. AI phantoms and human phantoms should be on the same level and the same equivalence. If an AI phantom comes in and you fight them and you're healing after every hit and all of that, then if a human phantom comes in, you should be able to heal all of that. When you're doing the Blood Manor quest and things like that when you invade into somebody else's world and all of that. I guarantee you half of them during the 1v1 duel and all of that tried to at least kill once. Probably at least click that button once during that duel. But now that a human's controlling it, now you want to use Dark Souls duel etiquette. Because you want to have a fair fight with a human on the other side of the particular screen. I don't care for a fair fight. And anybody that's actually experienced an actual duel or an actual war zone, for example, understands that there is no fairness in any type of fucking duel. Anybody who tried to have a 1v1 with somebody, generally somebody shows up with, a friend or a whole car full of homies. And you're like, shit, if I beat this motherfucker's ass, these motherfuckers might jump me. Sometimes they're just there for the show. Sometimes they do jump you. As soon as you start winning, they're going to jump your ass, leave you in a ditch, and then they're all going to take off. But you don't mess with the homies. So I don't understand why people are like, it's like, I mean, I know what it is. Half of these people that play Elden Ring and all of this and have this dual etiquette and that chip on their shoulder and everything, and they want to say, this and that and another, and you should follow this. Probably ain't even been in a fight in their life. So they don't understand the actual struggle. If you want to have a fair duel, wait till the DLC release and then go to the DLC arena, which hopefully, if it's like Dark Souls 3, will be released somewhere around Christmas, maybe even sooner. Nobody knows. At least I ain't seen any information about it, but I haven't looked either. Wait for the arena to be implemented into the actual game. And then you can complain about etiquette and all of that, but I guarantee you it's going to be fixed. If you want to duel before dueling, in parentheses, is added to the actual game, then it's just a regular evasion and a popular spot. It's an invasion spot that's popular for 1v1 invasions. That's all you're doing, is you're being summoned to somebody's world to invade, or you are invading somebody at that particular place. And it's a regular invasion, but both of you are staying in a specific area and just ending it quickly. Somebody presses the heal button, it's no reason for you to get angry, start pointing down, calling them trash, calling them pathetic, saying that they can't, accept a loss and that it's bullshit and all of that. The game rules says they can do it. They paid for the game, just like you paid for the game. And if the game says that they can heal and use dragon breath and spam weapon arts nonstop, even though it's kind of bullshit and annoying, they still have the rights to do so. It's like real life. Somebody can walk around and insult the hell out of you as long as they don't say something that's, racist or something crazy like that, or go too far with it. They have the right to do so. There's a lot of annoying thing that humans beings do on a daily basis that's annoying to another human being. But guess what? It's within their rights to do so, and you have to respect their rights, whether it's a video game or not. But the thing that gets me, which is where this Q1 off is coming, I think that's a good enough introduction. Let's actually get into everything. Is Chase the Bro. Chase the Bro, I've been watching his content and weapon showcases and streams and duels and all of that. He's the one that inspired me to actually get into that. He's been playing Dark Souls 3 and Elden Rings and FromSoft games for years and years and years now. If you want to watch somebody who actually knows the game in and out, at least Dark Souls wise, Elden Rings is still new, but somebody who knows the FromSoft experience in and out, who's also chill and doesn't get mad at any situations that he comes across and manages to exceed or succeed regardless of the situation 99.9% of the time, Go visit Chase. Give him a subscription. I'm asking you personally. Go to this man's account and press the subscribe button. It's very good content, especially if you like the Dark Souls / Elden Ring games, or even if you just want to learn something. He is the best content creator, hands down. Hands down. So what happened in this video is he was dueling somebody, and that guy basically got down to low HP, and he decided I think he was trying to leave. He was either trying to leave, trying to heal, or something like that. I think he was trying to leave and go back to his own place because he had low HP. And Chase hit him right as he was trying to leave and got the victory from the duel and all of that. And after the video, I scrolled down and I was looking at the comments and all of that. Yeah, 8 minutes. There you go. 8 minutes on this particular video. Elden Ring Grave Scythe Weapon Showcase Episode 10. Chase the Bro. I'm not going to play any of his content. If you want to see what happened here, then you can easily click the 8 minutes and see what that is. I respect him enough not to play any of his content. But as he says, what I love about Chase is he doesn't place any stakes on any of his matches. They hold no weight or meaning to him beyond pure enjoyment. It's all just practice. That is Chase's playstyle to the T. He just plays the game to have fun. That's all he does. He's played Dark Souls to have fun, regardless of the situation. It's either humorous to him, or he's like, man, you know, I got rock there. And then he goes back in and does it again. And he'll do it again and again and again and again and again. And be like, man, even for 4 hours straight, the Millennia fight, he tried to use the Moonveil Katana for like 4 hours. Couldn't do it. Switched to a halberd, beat her on the first try. And now we still kind of joke about that. He's a very good streamer. Top tier. If I was to become a streamer, I would probably switch my attitude to there, because the wholesome streamers are always the best types of content. Look at these positive comments, the way it should be for anyone. Just came to saying the same thing. Matches should have no weight. You can try your best to win without taking it too seriously. Exactly. Especially because it's not even part of a duel arena and there's no ranking or anything put inside the game. You lose nothing for these duels. They mean absolutely nothing. It's just fun. Cocky statement. I mean, he probably reached such a level that every opponent feels like a kid's game. Funny statements, things like that. This is what got me. It's a duel arena. There literally isn't any stakes or reason to fight other than shits and giggles. That is the premise of this entire discussion. 1. It's not a duel arena. The Dark Souls community has made it into a duel arena where you both fight at and things, excuse me, fight at and things like that 1v1. It's a popular invasion spot, or a popular invasion duel spot. It is not a duel arena. DLC has not been implemented into Elden Ring to make duel arenas. Not a thing. It is not a duel arena. Everybody calls it a duel arena, but it's just kind of that spot where you can get 1v1s if you're looking for them. So starting from there, that's not correct. It's not a duel arena. Second space, there's literally isn't any stakes or reason to fight other than shits and giggles. That is true. There is no reason to evade to do all of that except for practice. So there's a reason to fight, practice, having fun, things like that. Any stakes? No, because if you die, you just walk over there and pick up your souls. And if you win, you just get, the items that you get, and then the other person gets sent back. But what gets me in a situation where there isn't any stakes or any reason to fight other than shits and giggles, why do you be so toxic? Some people are just pathetic in their inability to accept losing. Only thing the guy did was trying to teleport back to his own world when he was at 1 HP. It's called accepting defeat. You don't know what his mind state was. He could have said, damn, man, I fucking lost this duel. I'm just gonna head back, you know? Fuck it. I lost. Good GG guy, you know? I lost. GG. I'm heading home now. After fights and things like that, and duels that are actually in the real life, 1v1 challenges, people generally don't fight until somebody dies, unless we're going, you know, back into the old west and all of that. Or we're going out to a war zone or something like that. But newsflash for you, people generally don't fight to the death in those either. There were some duels that were deadly and people died and things like that. But most duels back in the day, people didn't die either. It's a trope. When you see two people walk 8 paces, turn, and then fire at each other, and one person falls over dead, and the other person, you know, is good. Generally, what happens is one person gets wounded and wins the duel, and the other person doesn't, or they both get wounded. And then whoever loses the duel leaves town. They leave. AKA what that guy did. He knew he lost the duel, so he was leaving town. So, duel etiquette, if we go by actual real life standards, he did the right thing. Chase slaughtered this man, and he was like, you win, I'm leaving. Chase caught him as he was leaving, which is fine. That's part of Dark Souls mechanics. Everything takes time to leave, and it takes time to heal, and it takes time to do anything else. It's confusing when somebody tries to lose a duel, but I mean, you know, you gotta know when to hold them, you gotta know when to fold them. He knew he was beat. He gave Chase a decent 1v1. He was respectful throughout that. He didn't do anything scummy, cheesy. He didn't use any extra abilities or anything that people would frown on, and any of that. And Chase, even though he was kind of confused about what was going on and why he didn't finish the duel and all of that, never once said anything bad about him. He was just confused. Chase is wholesome. He wouldn't say anything bad about him. And it just blows my mind how somebody leaving a duel that they've already lost, you guys exchanged blows. Chase was the obvious winner there. And that guy had no HP left. And you say some people are just pathetic in their ability to accept losing. If he goes back home and leaves the dueling ground, he lost. This statement right here is indicative to an ego problem and narcissism. The way of thinking of this is wrong. If the guy doesn't stand there and let Chase kill him, if he doesn't give up completely and let Chase kill him, he's pathetic. No. There was a guy in the video that did literally stand there and let Chase kill him when he got down to 1 HP. I'm like, at that point, what are you doing? It's not honorable to stand there and let somebody kill him. If anything, that's more cowardice. You're just going to give up. You're not going to fight anymore. You're not going to struggle to the end. You're not going to go down as a warrior. You're just going to go down and die just standing there. Just standing there. I give up. Okay, you beat me, man. I give up. Go ahead and end it. Finish it. Fuck it, dude. Do it. Do it. Like, no. If anything, that would be more considerable to pathetic because you literally gave up, sat your controller down, and acted like a spoiled brat and stopped playing. Knowing when you have lost and then trying to walk away from a particular situation is a lot more graceful than staying into the end, getting humiliated, and then losing, and all of that. If you know you're going to lose, stop and forfeit whenever you know you're going to lose. Stop dragging it out. It's like with Rocket League games, for example. When the other team is 4 goals up on you and you only got 2 minutes left, forfeit that shit and go to the next match and try again. Stop waiting until the last goddamn moment to forfeit. The last 10 seconds they forfeit and want to say GG and all of that. Know that you've been beat and walk away. Just walk away. Unless your teammates are, toxic or something like that, then that's a different story. That's instigating. It's not even like you could lose your rooms there since you spawn right next to where you're going to drop them. You might at worst have to walk to the other side of the plaza. Contradictory statements. If there is no states, no reason to fight other than to have fun, why would you immediately say some people are pathetic in their inability to accept losing? Again, you don't know this person. You're making an assumption. The person could have had, wicked problems. The person could have just been like, hey man, you beat me, I'm out. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. I'm leaving. You won. GG. Who knows? I simply stated, I bet everyone else who's commenting this also gets angry if their opponent heals during a duel or does something that's against dueling etiquette. As well, even though they hold no weight. Double standards and whatnot. It's not easy to talk down on people, or it's easy to talk down on people about things that don't bother you, but there are other things that will bother you that other people will think isn't a big deal as well. Just keep that in mind, commenters. So I gave a brief subtext. At no point in time did I ever instigate an argument or anything like that. He was just the last one that commented, so I hit the reply button. If he took it personal, he should. If he felt it personally attacked by this message, that means he is literally feeding into this problem. If somebody says something about you and you get insulted by it, that means that you initially thought that. Somebody walks up to you and says, you're ugly, and you get pissed by that, that means deep down you think that you're ugly. Doesn't matter if you're hot or not on the outside, it's what you're thinking of how you feel. You think you're ugly and somebody calls you ugly, it's going to set you off. Basic human psychology. Human beings react to things that are similar to them. If you say something that's way off the wall, and let's say, they're girly as fuck and you walk around and you're like, you're the most manly thing that I've seen. If they don't take it as sarcasm and get pissed, they're going to be like, what? And they're going to be confused because they don't understand what your statement means. Again, communication is about the feedback that you get. If you say something that isn't true, you'll confuse them and they won't understand what you're saying. If you say something that hits on the mark, they'll get pissed, immediately fucking angry, and they will yell and scream and start an argument and start trying to get violent with you. You'll escalate that situation very quickly. If you say something that's so-so and they have a lot of wherewithal or temperance, they'll just kind of bounce off of them and they won't care. Oh, that's cool, dude. And they'll go on and they'll just dismiss you. Just like they know who they are. If they've accepted it and they've made it in part of their internal being and they have the temperance to weather the storm, they'll be like, okay, that's cool, dude. Why are you still here? And they'll just brush you off and ignore that you exist. Some won't even comment back to you. They go, I don't care. You can say whatever you want. You don't know me. Why would I get mad over somebody saying something when they don't personally know me? Well, you're a jerk. Am I? Have you known me for the 29 years? No? You don't know me at all? Oh, you're just making assumptions off of what happened during this small little bit of time we've had an interaction with. I see. So your opinion means nothing. Gotcha. Well, I'm gonna ignore you now and move on. Most people are mediocre, and they'll take those threats and comments and intimidations and all of that, and they'll respond to them, giving that person a line, and that person will eat that line up, because in order to improve their particular person's ego, they have to put somebody down. It's not a good thing to do. Notice here, right here, also gets angry if their opponent heals during a duel or does something that is against dueling etiquette, even though they hold no weight. The whole point of my statement was that there are going to be things, or it's easy to talk down on people, and there are going to be things that bother you that don't bother somebody else, and there's going to be things that bother somebody else that don't bother you. And I said, keep that in mind when you're making your comments. Just because, somebody heals during a duel or somebody leaves during a duel, it might piss you off internally, but somebody else, they might just say, okay, see you later. It's not, you don't hold the opinion of the entirety of the human race. Notice also I talked about dueling etiquette, which I highlighted with quotation marks and all of that here. And then I briefly mentioned healing. He picks up the easy one is healing, and then gives a very he basically proves my situation right in my statement. Healing is objectively different since one side has a distinct advantage, and that they have twice as many flasks. It's not a double standard to expect a fair fight in a duel, since that both sides have given consent to fight. It's also worth mentioning the point that using the severed finger to send home a player you invited into your world to fight is not only bad manners, but is objectively wasting the other player's time and putting them at risk from a game crash, because God, this game does not seem to like multiplayer loading screens. Blah. 1. Putting them at risk for a game crash. That is something that's between the devs and the player. So if somebody sends you home in your game crash, you should be saying Dark Soul or From Soft, fix your shit. You shouldn't be saying, well, this goddamn guy sent me home. God damn it. The severing finger is implemented into the game for a reason. It's implemented into the game for a reason. It is an item. Well, I mean, I just read the description. It allows you to send a player home, or to send yourself home. It's an item in the game, so it's fine by the devs. The devs put it in there for a reason. If they didn't want it to be used during duels and invasions and all of that, they would have a penalty to use it. You can use it, however, all your souls disappear. You can use it, however, something happens. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, if you invade somebody else's world, you're already going to have a distinct disadvantage, because you are the invader. The only thing that your goal or your primary goal is to kill the host. If you're going to complain about healing being objectively different since one side has a distinct advantage and they have twice as many flasks, one, as a comment said later on, it doesn't matter how many flasks they have to kill. If you are the superior dueler, you're going to win in the end, period. But two, Why is it that when people are invading and all of that, people still chug the drink? Still, I was gonna say chug Estes, but wrong game. They still drink their flask during an invasion. They still form gank squads and go after the person who's invading. And all of that's a thing. You can't tell me that putting the word dueling on it means it's a change of rules. We can gank squad an invader regularly, but we can't gank squad an invader that we summon. It's like until FromSoft initiates the DLC for the dueling arena, then duels are just open invasions in an area. As long as you have the ability to invade somebody else's place, you should go by invasion rules. If you want a 1v1 and you both decide the 1v1, it's a 1v1 between you two people. The only thing that agreeing to a 1v1 duel means is that both of you are going to fight each other and nobody else should interfere. That's it. That's it. And as long as you don't use a taunter's tongue or let the shit draw out for too long or summon multiple people, it's going to stay a 1v1. You can make that situation a 1v1. However, healing, weapons, magic, weapon arts, anything else that exists within the game are all fair game during this duel. Again, when you put down your summon sign or you go into evade somebody else's world, you are signing a contract as soon as you put that item down or use that item, saying that I agree to having less flasks and have to go through the possibility of going through some bullshit of gank squads or the other players sending me back home or anything like that. You're signing that contract. It's not a double standard to expect a fair fight in a duel since both sides have given the consent to fight. That's the thing. You've only both given the consent to fight in a 1v1. The methodologies, the rules, or anything like that have not been set. People defaultly follow a rule system. The mediocre people defaultly follow a rule system. There's no way to communicate in Dark Souls to say whether or not I'm buffing or whether or not I'm healing or anything like that. Because, I mean, Chase is nice and he waits to see if they're going to buff or not. Other people go in and immediately buff regardless if that person wants to buff or not. Now, the only way that you can do a non-heal fight is to, as soon as you jump into a match, chug all your Estus flasks and see if they chug theirs. In retaliation, this show that it's going to be a fair fight without healing. If you chug all of your Estus flasks and they don't chug theirs, then you just put yourself at a disadvantage. So you can offer a line of hope, and if they don't chug their Estus flasks in retaliation or agree to the terms in some way, then you can use a severing finger or something, go back home. You don't want to accept my duel, okay, I'm going back home, and then you find somebody else that's willing to accept your duel. So it's like these Dark Souls 3 rules and techniques and all of that other stuff, which don't really apply to Elden Ring because it's two separate games entirely. Trying to force Dark Souls 3 into Elden Ring is going to end up ruining Elden Ring. If you go by Dark Souls 3 rules, the dragons obviously wouldn't be allowed. The only thing you'd be allowed to use are the weapons arts on weapons, magic. No healing, no none of that shit. You can use the blue drink, weapons arts, magic, and then obviously regular weapons. You can use a specific set of items, and I say specific as a very specific set of items, which you could only have one of. And that would be the duel set. It would be very boring, and it would be exactly like Dark Souls 3. Nobody would be able to use any of the other stuff that's, very important to the actual game. Or anything like that. So it would be Dark Souls 3 dueling with weapon arts. That's lame. Opening it up at the start so the devs can watch dueling videos and see what the community decides on what should be the dueling standards is a smart way to go. Completely different open world game and all of that. They want to see what the old people think about things. They want to see what the new people think about things. They want to see what they need to, cut down on and what they need to improve on. And then they'll craft a dueling system together in time that seems to fit, most needs. But until then, people from Dark Souls 3 trying to stick their Dark Souls 3 standards into a, in my opinion, better game, being Elden Ring, just ain't it. It's not it. Get rid of your old values, stop being a stickler, and trying to bring your old methodologies into a new world. If you want to keep those same rules, go back to Dark Souls 3. It's that simple. Like I told the guy, like I follow dual etiquette and all of that from Dark Souls 3 because it's just kind of what I know. But if somebody does heal or something like that, I continue on the fight. It's simple. It's like in Rocket League. If somebody demos me, you gotta just continue on. Scumbag thing to do, but it's part of the game, so whatever. Am I gonna talk shit? Yeah, damn straight I'm gonna talk shit. I ain't gonna say it to them. Unless, they're just non-stop demoing or they give up a goal for it. I'm going to pick fun at them. But I'm not angry. I can be irritated or annoyed about it, but I'm not angry. I'm not going to alter for Rocket League because, I got demoed. I'm not going to rage quit and abandon a match because I got demoed. Again, if their whole team is non-stop demoing and they really want to use scumbag tactics to win, like they're really dedicated to that win, I'll just forfeit and move on. If you really want to win that bad, take that shit, brother. Here you go. Your fucking ego is definitely low right now and you need to pick me up. Take the forfeit and I'm going to go to the next match. So not only are you not going to get a full game and get that full ego relief, I'm not going to spend time with you. Then I'm going to simply add you to the block list, which will hopefully decrease the odds of us being put in matches in the future together. And if I do run across you in the future and you start demoing, we're just going to leave. Right at the start of the match, as soon as we're able to. We will let you score 2 kickoff goals and then we will leave at the beginning of the match. And you will never get a game out of that. It's like the loathsome dung eater in Elden Ring. Everybody knows what he is, everybody knows what he does, everybody fears him. If you run into the dung eater, you run away. You leave. You GTFO. Unless you're an NPC, then you just kind of accept it. Or a player, then you just kind of put him down and then go on with your day. Okay, bad thing. But if you don't want to fight something, you move the hell out the way, is what I'm saying. You can agree to fight it, or you can walk away. Or if you're fighting it and it almost kills you, instead of standing there and dying, you generally leave, get some healing or something, and then come back. It's got strategies. Or you'll pop on a regen and you avoid the person until the regen gets your health up to a safer level. It's called strategies. I replied back to him, "You just proved my double standards point. Thanks." Remember, this is talking about healing. Healing and what I want to talk about dueling etiquette in general. Healing is objectively different since one side has the distinct advantage of twice as many flasks. Sending somebody home you invited into your world is not only bad manners, but objectively wasting the other player's time. Objectively wasting another person's time. Let's go back up to his original statement. It is a dueling arena. There literally isn't any stakes or reason to fight other than shits and giggles. If the shits and giggles leave and I send you, or run out and I send you back home, then guess what? I don't want you in my world anymore. You're the guest in my home. When your guests stay or overstay their welcome, you send them home. It's only a natural thing. Plus, you have to pull the item out, use the item, and then it takes a little bit for them to actually be sent out. And if they don't get to you and manage to deal some sort of damage or interrupt your using of your particular item, then obviously they're way on the other side of the arena where they can't reach you. So if I'm sitting here trying to play a good duel and the person's staying away from me and keeping mad distance from me, fuck that shit. I'm not gonna try and play this distance game with you, brother. I'm gonna send your ass home and pick up the next duelist. We're incompatible. You want to stay on the opposite side of the map shooting magic attacks, then you want to run away from me and shoot more magic attacks. I could be nice and wait for all of your flasks to run out and then bum rush you, or I could just send you home, waste all of that time and effort, and get a duelist that actually is going to challenge me. Again, they signed the contract before they came into your world, so they should be expecting anything and they shouldn't be mad if you get sent back home. Your guest comes over and you're like, all right, I'm going to bed for the night, and that's their cue to leave. They don't have any right to get mad. You're tired. Get the fuck out of my house. You know what I'm saying? But literally, in his saying everything and trying to prove a point here, he ends up proving my double standards point completely. His comment proved my first statement correct, which has 3 thumbs up now. Cool. Then he says, would you be happy if you were playing a football match in which the other team had twice as many players? After all, as long as nobody wins, there isn't a problem, nor is it unfair by the principle of the argument you're making. What in the fuck does football and having twice as many players on a particular team have to do anything with me talking about dueling etiquette? The etiquette of the games. Etiquette of the games. What does that have to do with anything that you've talked about or that I've talked about? What does football or anything have to do with the number of players? So, I went back and said, funny, because you never even tried to understand the principle of the argument. Because obviously he didn't. To pull out some football team shenanigans that he's talking about, he obviously didn't even understand the principle of what I was saying. That I was making. You're making assumptions and you're way off base, and this is a ludicrous comparison that you are making, and it is in no way, shape, or form relevant to anything that's going on. Maybe brush up on your communication skills instead of arguing over a point you obviously failed to grasp, which he did. Next time, just ask me what I meant instead of trying to vilify me and win with a simple conversation with absolutely no factual comments at all. I wasn't even arguing with you in the first place. Check your ego before you comment back. Yikes. To be this shameless has to be embarrassing. I wasn't even arguing. I was trying to set an precedence and example to avoid future comments of people saying that, well, Dark Souls etiquette dictates that you are the scum of the earth if you heal during a duel. If you heal during the duel, you should uninstall your game and never play Dark or Elden Ring again. Like shit like that. Or you're pathetic for healing during a duel. How dare you heal during a duel? Type shit. We're playing Elden Ring. Who cares if they heal during a duel? When you got your infinite weapon arts using and things like that, and Dragon's Breath and a whole bunch of other shit, I'm just gonna let you know, if you come into my world and immediately get a hit off of me while I'm bowing with like Dragon's Breath or some shit, I'm gonna fucking heal. That's something that I will admit. If you come in and I give you a wave or a bow and you immediately Dragon's Breath and I take damage, I'm healing that shit back up. Or if we have a brief misunderstanding where, one of us thinks that we're buffing and the other person accidentally attacks them, or one person's bowing and one person attacks, we're gonna heal that damage up. I'm gonna drink my flask even if I'm at full HP to show you that it's okay to heal that damage back up. I'm sorry. Because I'm not just gonna accept that damage and then be like, alright, well, a fourth of my health is missing. Fuck it, let's just go ahead and play this duel through. Like, no. You guys can act in your fake chivalry and fake honor system, but I ain't. Why would I go in at a disadvantage? You know what I'm saying? If I'm going into a 1v1 and my homie's like, hey, bruh, you know, I'll be in the corner. We're gonna do this in the rounds and shit. You got 6 homies behind you, and they're like, man, after the rounds, we'll get you water, we'll get you ice if you need it, shit like that. And the guy that showed up with nothing just has to sit on the ground. And it's him. It's his fault for not coming prepared for the situation. If you didn't bring anybody with you in a 1v1 duel, and nobody's there to be your corner man and all of that, and you end up losing just the sheer damage alone, while I'm over there having my homies take care of me and shit between rounds, that's on you. That's a lack of preparation on you. A lot of people be like, oh, that's bullshit. His homies were taking care of him. Yeah, but were they interfering in the 1v1? At the end of the day, as soon as he pulled up, the homies could have just jumped his ass, took his wallet, took his car, take his clothes, take his car, take all of his shit, and then ghosted that man somewhere. And that would have been the end of it. But instead, they let him come in. You let both of the mans fight, but they're going to take care of the homie. Because the only thing, again, that you're signing an agreement to is a 1v1. You are signing that you two are going to fight, and while you are fighting, nobody's to interfere. When you ain't fighting, anything could happen. There's no rules made outside of that when you aren't fighting. And you have to keep in mind situations like that, because other human beings will trick you and will get a cheeky upper hand on you by twisting the rules. And if you don't know this by now in life, you might want to learn that. Stop being naive of thinking everybody's going to follow a specific rule set. Unless it's enforced, you can't think about that. Then I commented it 2 more times. First, I said, also, there isn't enough. I went back to the football statement. There isn't enough information in your counter statement for me to give you an answer, brother. Again, if it was against children half my age, then yeah, I wouldn't mind giving them double the players. Or if it's a team practicing for an upcoming event, or just for shits and giggles, I wouldn't mind either. I'm not stuck up like that. And there's going to be a winner regardless. So no, I don't know what you're talking about in that aspect. If the other team forfeits, it's still a dub in my book. I don't consider it unfair by any means, as stated before in the previous comments. It's as I quote, it's a duel. There literally isn't any stakes or reason to fight other than shits and giggles. So why does it matter the outcome? If it never mattered in the beginning, why does the outcome matter? Which was my main point. Exactly. You'd rather hold a person against their will until they lose to you for your own ego instead of let them leave and then call them pathetic, which is going way too far for doing so. Aren't you the monster here? If there was no stakes, no nothing, and then as things are concluding, that person walks off and says, all right, man, I'm done. Doesn't that make you a monster for forcing them to stay until you win and then calling them pathetic for trying to leave in the first place? There was no stakes at all. There's no stakes. It's for shits and giggles. That means people can come in whenever they want. People can leave. When you're at parties and shit, if you do go to parties anymore, because of COVID and everything like that, when football and things are going on and party games, people just come in and join a side. People don't care if the teams are even and shit like that. At least not in my time. People just went in and joined a team and we played. Teams were never really balanced, never really equal. People are just playing, and there never really was a problem against it. Generally, if there are two good people that are on the same team, everybody else would stack on the other team to make it somewhat fair or somewhat balanced. Balanced versus equal are two different things. If I put 5 players and 5 children on a team, are against each other. Yes, the teams are equal, but they're not necessarily balanced. Different situations of different wording. Then I said, to stop you from coming back, I mentioned something that is against dueling etiquette, which are other things beyond healing, and even explain what I meant. So why don't you just harp about one thing when I cover an entire topic? The only rules you have to follow are the dev's rules that are set in the game. The rest of these players' set rules are only old Souls player pushing their own agenda on other players. Only thing I'm going to say as a closing statement is, if I bought the game same as you, I'm going to play the game however I dang well please. And I'm not going to let some entitled gamer ruin my experience. Period. It is that simple. The same thing that I say about Rocket League and things like that when people don't particularly like my play style and want to harp about it. I paid for my version. You're playing on the free version. I paid for my version. I played SARP all the way through to Rocket League as it is now. And I paid for I paid for 2 copies of Rocket League. I paid for my version. So I'm going to play Rocket League however I damn well please. You got the game for free. Good for you. It helped boost the community and all of that, which was dying at the time. Good for you. But guess what, brother? At the end of the day, you got the shit for free and you can do whatever the fuck you want with it. And I paid for it, so I'm going to do whatever I want to do with my version. Free, you have the choice to. Paid, I'm going to. I put money out for this. Twice, as a matter of fact. Twice, I paid for the game on Steam. One for my main account and one for my extra modes account. Back in the day, smurfing costed money. So I'm like, I have legacy accounts out the wazoo. Actually, no, I bought the game 3 times. If you want to include PlayStation, yeah, I got it on PlayStation and I got it twice on PC. I bought the game 3 times and I didn't get it on sale either. So yeah, if I buy the game, I'm going to play the game however I want. I don't care if you don't like my particular play style or anything like that. They're just talking about Dark Souls and Elden Ring etiquette. Nothing more. Nah, I'm about done here anyway. I'm literally at the last comment for this particular thing. I mean, there's a little bit more, but it's kind of meh. But now, this is just something that I went over that I was part of. But yeah, this guy, well, I can't say this guy, the old Dark Souls 3 community is trying to bring their dueling etiquette and everything else over into Elden Ring. Which I mean, I still use the Dark Souls 3 etiquette, but I also am smart enough to know not to get angry if somebody who just came to the game heals or something during a duel. I don't care. If you want to have Dark Souls 3 etiquette and have a kind of a trump card, then you summon people into your world. So if you decide not to heal or anything, or if they decide to heal, you can unlock your heals and still keep it somewhat balanced. But if you want to follow Dark Souls 3 etiquette and all of that, and you're invading other people's worlds, and they do things that aren't towards that etiquette, you don't have the right to say anything at all. You signed the contract when you invaded their world saying that you agree to being at a disadvantage. So I don't think you have the right to talk or anything about that. And we go through, and this guy is like, his analogy was false. It's more like a football match against children that extended for 450 minutes instead of a usual 90. A good player will win regardless of the healing. Exactly. Healing, or the act, is just delaying the obvious and plain annoying, which I agree with. Healing really is delaying the obvious and plain annoying, but I never once during my statement said that I didn't find healing annoying. I agree. Healing is very annoying. It makes things drawn out, things like that, than what it needs to be. Same as with Rocket League and anything else. Being wanting to forfeit and all of that, and your team not playing, and you playing the match through, is drawing the game out and making it longer than it wants to be. Some people want to have a long and engaged duel and all of that. Dark Souls 3 community wants it to be quick and go to the next duel. Differences in playstyle. You just got to kind of expand your horizons. Yeah, expand your horizon some, and not be as stubborn. I agree. I like the comment. Healing definitely is delaying the obvious and very plain annoying. I agree with him. But I never once stated that I didn't. I didn't find anything like that. Then Croissant, the original guy, says, "You're right. Wanting a fair and fun fight is the same as leaving a duel because you're losing." He's trying to be a smartass about it. I'll give him a like because he's kind of right. And then YouTube Wanderer says, "Don't talk to him. He's just salty because he can't have an unfair advantage in duels." When the hell have I said throughout the entirety of this that I'm mad because I don't have an unfair advantage? I've stated plenty of times that that I follow the Dark Souls 3 etiquette, and I also state again at the bottom. There, when did I ever say that I wanted an unfair advantage, and when did I ever say that I healed or left during duels? The assumption of this comment section blows me away. Maybe dock your prejudices and try and have a conversation next time instead of should be immediately, jumping straight to arguments. FYI, I follow etiquette. However, if someone leaves or heals during a duel, which is very rare that people try that, by the way, I don't get pissed and start pointing down and disrespecting them. I just continue dueling because having that base gamer entitlement slash prejudice isn't a good attitude to have. So stop stroking your ego, calm down, and stop getting so upset over a measly duel that holds no value. And I'd appreciate it if you stopped acting like you personally know me and what I'm thinking. It's rude and a tad bit creepy. And it is. He just assumed that I'm mad because I can't have an unfair advantage in duels. The fuck are you talking about? You don't even know me. I could care less. Most duels I have an disadvantage in. When I play Rocket League games, I have a disadvantage in because I don't take every demo opportunity given to me. I don't take every goal opportunity given to me. I pass to teammates and things like that. And I try my best not to go around demoing every opportunity that I see. Cleaning people off the field, if it's tactically, is a very good play style and a very good thing to do because it leaves gaps in their rotation and all of that. I don't do that. I try to win based off of skill more than based off of demos. I know if I'm pushing the ball down the field and somebody's directly challenging me, I can just drive around the ball, demo them, and then get back in control of the ball and continue taking the ball down the field. I know that anytime I lift the ball up, instead of knocking it off the back wall to a pass, I could just go for an air dribble bump and take the goalie out 99% of the time. Because the ranks that I'm playing in on my stream accounts don't know any better. Tap the ball up, air dribble bump the goalie out of the way, that's a goal every time. Because they don't protect their goal. Or they panic the goal. Simple. It's like when people are like, well, you don't seem like a GC because you don't play like a GC. Like, I'm purposely not playing like a GC. If I really wanted to step it up and play like a GC/SSL, I would just speed around the fucking field, keeping ball control, passing the teammates, demoing anybody that gets in the way, air dribble bumping, flip resetting, ceiling shotting my way over and past defenders, faking the ball down anytime somebody tries to challenge me, reversing back, getting low 50s, the things that you see the GCs and SSLs do. Higher level people will fake the ball over committing to the 50-50 like I do. It's kind of like a fan service for the ranks. I do it on purpose. I know the easy way to win those 50s and continue on, but I try not to, because it takes the fun out of everything when somebody's playing like a fucking tryhard. Anyway, I even went to Gatsu and said I agree it can be very annoying. But it's something that's allowed via game devs, so I accept it. Healing is what we're talking about here. I view it as sort of a house has the advantage type of situation. I will be solved when the first DLC release when they add a dueling arena, so we just need to hang in there a little longer. Generally around Christmas, they'll release the DLC for the dueling arena and all of this will be cleaned up. So as long as people just don't go too far and don't get so tilted and pissed over people doing things during a duel, it'll be situated. This comments to his comment. Don't talk to him. He's just, no, that's not him. This one. You're right. Wanting a fair fight is the same as leaving a duel because you're losing. I don't know if he's being malicious about it or is he being right about it. So I said, I agree, but the way of wording is kind of negative. Bro, let's think of this as the other duelist realizes he can't win, so he surrenders/retreats, which is a fair option in any duel. It saves time, effort, and everybody knows who won in the end. Then past that, to anybody else that wants to comment, do anything that I said, past the arrows, I said, would you have been satisfied if he would have given up and just sat there to be killed? The answer is yes, then you obviously have ego issues. You should be happy you got to duel that person in the first place and waved him out and said bye as he left. That is what true etiquette is. The Dark Souls community, if you want to follow etiquette, follow all of it, not just a part of it. And I said this half of the comment isn't directly for Croissant, it's just to those reading this, so don't get offended. He probably will get offended and reply back, but I'm not going to say anything back to him. If you want to preach etiquette and all of that, follow full etiquette. You can't follow partial etiquette if you're preaching it and wanting to teach it and things like that. You can't go part way on something like that. You can't say, well, everybody here raises their pinkies in my household when they drink, but then everybody sits there and eats with their fucking hands and shit. It don't make sense. You can eat with your fucking hands, you can do all kinds of sloppy shit, leave plates and shit everywhere, nobody cares, but when you drink, you better damn well lift your fucking pinky. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense at all. If you want to follow etiquette, follow true etiquette to the T. From the moment you're welcoming somebody into your place to the moment they leave, follow it. That's the first thing you learn about etiquette, by the way. Anyway, that is that. That is the end of the Q1 off. Stream is gonna go down. Stream's gonna come back up. Actually, I haven't decided what I want to do. If I want to stream Rocket League or if I want to just go back to Uratus, Lord of the Dead. I really don't know. Hmm. Tell you what, I think I'm gonna stream a little bit of Rocket League and then go to Uratus. So probably like an hour, hour and a half of Rocket League like usual. And then I'm gonna jump to Uratus and play that for, well, I'm gonna try to play it on the next difficulty up all the way to the second boss. But we will see how well that works and if I can even make it that damn far anymore. I've thought about a strategy and all of that, but I will talk about that during that particular video. So for now, stream's gonna go down and then it'll come back up. Don't worry about it. And we will head over to some Rocket League. Give me one moment.